This story is gonna focus on knowing who you are as an artist. Nobody gets to tell you what you can make and what you can't make. If someone tells you your art is at this level, in your experience, your struggles, your time invested tells you you're at this level, then just don't listen to that person. Welcome to this week's video. We're going to talk about college life, college classes, college problems, college teachers, more specifically. This story begins with Bob and Mark. So I go to my registration day and register for my beginner's art class. It's a drawing 1 class, and I didn't want this. Throughout high school, I did enough like freelancing, messing up with my own and trying new mediums that I felt like I could probably get into drawing too. I just had to find the right person to talk to. I went and got registered because I couldn't find this other teacher. His name was Mark. He was never in his office. He didn't answer his phone or emails. I practically stalked this man, and he just wasn't anywhere to be found. Then I ended up having to attend my very first day at my drawing 1 class. So I did. I was ready to settle. You are going to settle. Just stick with this. Don't be a drama queen. It's not a big deal. It's just a class. Bob was okay. He was okay. My first impression of him wasn't the best. I wasn't excited. Maybe I wasn't open to be excited about him as a teacher because I wasn't excited or open to be excited about the class itself. He started to spiel about the materials and the projects and the schedule. He started to name off everybody. I said present. I was ready to stay in the class if need be. Challenged myself outside of the class, on my own. I decided I was going to talk to Bob by the end of the class. Tell him about my art history and maybe show him 1 or 2 of my drawings and paintings and different things that I made before. I had this tiny makeshift portfolio and a blog. I showed it to him, and his immediate reaction was to be offended. He practically said, "Stop bragging about how amazing you are at art. You're not. You're not even gonna get in that advanced class. Mark isn't gonna take you. You should stay in the class." And then I turned around and left without saying anything else back. I just couldn't. He said something along the lines of, "You can stay and be my right hand. Grade everybody else's work." There's this quote that I heard once that says something like, "If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room." And I take that along with art. If you're the best artist in the room, you're in the wrong room. You have to go find the room with the people that are way better than you. You're not the best one at your craft. So many more people are going to have so much to teach you. And that was my thing. I wanted to find people my age that somehow could art like they were 50. I wanted all of the learning, all of the getting better at this. And it wasn't going to happen if I was in a class where everybody was starting in art. I tried again and again and again to find Mark because I needed him to tell me that I could be in his class, even though I'd already met Bob. Mark had his first class on that Friday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And I decided I was gonna show up. Makes 0 sense. You're not in the role, Stephanie. What are you thinking? Who is you? He's gonna ask. Mark's class. I fell in love with it immediately. He told us of all the projects, all of the materials, every medium we were going to use. This man, his brain is packed full of Renaissance facts, even the randomest things. And he's fascinating. He's fascinating. So, I ended up staying. I was gonna come in, sit on the side, and make it obvious that I'm not pretending to be one of his students. Then I realized that everybody's like looking at me because I'm not sitting in the chairs, so I just go and sit in the back. Very, very back. Against the wall back. I then wait, because eventually he's gonna pass roll. And then he looks at you at the end of passing roll and says, "Who is you? I didn't name you. Who are you?" And you raise your hand and you're like, "I'm a freshman. I don't have the requirements for the class, but I wanted to talk to you and show you my portfolio maybe at the end." And he nods and says, "Where are you from?" "I was born in Vegas and raised in Chihuahua, Mexico. Moved here around a couple of years ago, 4 years ago." And he's nice. He just understands that you really want this. So he tells you, "Okay, we'll talk at the end." You grab your laptop and you walk up to that board. He immediately grabs it and starts scrolling through your blog, makeshift portfolio. He tells you that you're gonna have to work harder than everyone else because you don't have enough schooling in art. And you nod and say, "I'm ready for that." And he says, "Okay, I'll assign you a paper." And your mind is freaking blown. I seriously thought that the other dude had to release me from his class and then I could go to Mark. Mark could just sign it. He just could. I decided I was gonna twirl in happiness and text everybody, "I got in the class! I got in the class!" Everybody celebrated with me, okay? My excitement was very valid. I don't even see Bob at all. Go through my class, have the most amazing time, meet some really cool people. Even during the class, I wouldn't listen to my poems or my rap or my favorite music. I would listen to Mark tell us about all of the artists that he admires. It was just fascinating. And he would speak for the entire class. If he wasn't doing a demonstration and teaching us specific techniques, specific things, he would just talk to all of us. And then there were some other days where he played Adele. This like 70-year-old dude just loved Adele. And then classical music. It was either Adele or classical music. And I loved it. All of the things that I made during this class, the pictures are in my Instagram. You can tell which ones they are because they're master studies. That's what he called them. You would grab a Michelangelo piece, or a Picasso piece, or a girl with the pearl earring piece, and you would recreate them. Just try to make them exactly as they were. Study what was going on, how the texture was working, what contrast was doing, where you could see the chiaroscuro. I loved it when he used all of these Italian things and just like odd stuff. And then he would ask, "Does anybody know what that could mean?" And you would immediately raise the hand and just like, "I know, because it sounds kind of like Spanish." Is contrast. Is something about contrast. The light and the dark. And then he would smile and be like, "Very good." It was a blast. My second ever drawing in this class was a statue, a torso, a bust. I don't know what they're called. It was like no head and cut right under the hips. After I drew it, turned it in, I was excited. I'm gonna get a good grade. I quite like this one. And then he doesn't give it back. He just doesn't give it back. He's returning everybody's drawings, left and right. And I'm just sitting there waiting. And then he goes up to me and he tells me that he had to choose mine. And I'm like, huh? Choose? Choose? Then he kind of drags me outside. Right in front of the entry door to that classroom was this huge display. I knew the display. I had seen the display. There were amazing works of art in it all the time. You honestly thought that that display had everybody's things, but everybody didn't include you. It was going to be people that were in the advanced classes. There was Bob's class, there was Mark's class, and there was somebody else's class that you would never make it to. But, no. There was your drawing inside the freaking display, and you almost died. Almost died. He did this with every assignment, which was awesome. He told us, by the end of the semester, you want to have that checked marked. I appeared in the display at least once. But I appeared in this display 7 times. Huh? I don't know. I truly don't know. Once, he could choose like 10 different drawings. And there were 3 of mine in there at the same time. You can find them in my Instagram. The curly red hair facing away from me. The curly red hair facing to the left. And the building in charcoal. It was such a boring building. I have no idea why I chose this. And then the final test came. Chun 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 chun. Everybody was to grade everybody else's work. Our test was everybody's piece displayed on the floor, in the hallway, outside of that drawing room. And then in front, to the right, it was Bob's final test. He could see everybody's work. Throughout the semester, I kind of thought, well, maybe if you remember my name, he saw my things displayed in the display. But I have no idea. I don't know if you remember my name or not. Then, we pass each other. I'm walking that way, he's walking that way, and we bump almost. He nods and says hello. I nod and say hello, and I keep going and leave him standing there. I promise I wasn't trying to be rude. No. I'm not a rude person. He just kind of stood there for over a second, and it was a bit awkward. But he saw my grade. I was standing with my pieces before anything. Happy ending. Happy ending. If I had listened to him, I would have just stayed and been miserable. Maybe I'd learned some things, but I feel like the hard work that went into Mark's class paid off a lot more than stepping back and revising or learning some things that you maybe missed. I hope you somehow take something away from this. I always want to share this experience because it taught me a lot. That is it for this week's video, and I'll see you next Monday.